It's good to be with you on this Monday. Let's take a look today at Psalm 119, verses 57 through 64. This text will be for us our call to worship this week, this Sunday, when we gather for worship here at Grace Point Church, here in Nappanee. Psalm 119, 57 to 64. And this is God's word. You are my portion, O Lord. I have promised to obey your words. I have sought your face with all my heart. Be gracious to me according to your promise. I have considered my ways and have turned my steps to your statutes. I will hasten and not delay to obey your commands. Though the wicked bind me with ropes, I will not forget your law. At midnight, I rise to give you thanks for your righteous laws. I am a friend to all who fear you, to all who follow your precepts. The earth is filled with your love, O Lord. Teach me your decrees. This particular psalm, the longest psalm in the Psalter, does remind us continually of giving thanks for God's law, reading it, embracing it, meditating on it, following it with all of our hearts, and embracing the truth of it. And so we're thankful for this, for the various statements that are made here in Psalm 119. It's a great psalm. We're looking at little portions of it, and this particular section here starts out with this line where the psalmist says, "You are my portion, O Lord." Now, a portion is that which we're given, that is our share, and we're given that to meet our needs. So, for example, you might consider when your family sits down for dinner, and everybody gets their plate and gets their amount of food, then everybody gets their portion. And, I remember when I was a kid, whether I got enough and I got more than what my brother would get, that was a competition thing, always who got more. And that was just what brothers did. And we were kind of competitive when I was a kid. And so you received your portion. And the concern is always whether our portion is sufficient. Whether our portion, whatever it is, does our portion meet our needs? The psalmist here is trusting God with everything. And he says to God, "You are my portion." The psalmist says, "God, I know that all of my needs are met in you. All of my needs are satisfied in you. I know that you know what I need, and you give me what I need, and I can trust and rely that there's never going to be a shortage." Think of God's grace and mercy. There's never a shortage of grace and mercy. God pours it out upon his children, and he pours it out lavishly, and he pours it out more than sufficiently. So we always know and trust that the love and the compassion that we receive from God is always going to be more than enough. The portion that he gives us is always sufficient. We think about then in that bigger picture of the portion of sacrifice that was given when Christ died on the cross. And that sacrifice was sufficient. When God saw the sacrifice, he declared it to be so and received it. And you and I know that that sacrifice is more than enough to meet our needs. It's grace and mercy poured out from us for the cross. So when the psalmist declares, "You, O Lord, you are my portion," we're reminded that we trust and rest and rely on the Lord for all things. And he gives from his bounty, and he gives sufficiently for our need.